Hi, I'm Max Walker&Williams, and today I've got a HBAR update for you. I'm so sorry, it's been a while since I've done one of these, so let's just jump straight into it. I just want to ask one favor before we get started, is if you haven't got a YouTube account, please create one. Super duper easy, completely free. You sign up to the YouTubes, sign into your account, and then just subscribe to this channel. It'll really help me out. If you like some of the stuff that I do on Twitter and here on YouTube's, and you want to see me debating with people, Bitcoin maxis, or in spaces that you want to see me in, then the way I do that is through legitimacy. And the way I get legitimacy is by having a bigger audience. So the bigger the YouTube subscriber following is, the more I get invited to speak at events and stuff and get to spread the good word of Hedera Hashgraph, but also get invited to debate with people who really do need debating. Okay, Google Trends, so that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. Jump straight into it, let's go. Google Trends, HBAR search term is down 64%, down to 64% of its all-time high. So 100% is the height of like most search terms ever since it started. 0 is obviously the lowest, 64%. Hedera search term is 72%, so slightly higher. Hedera Hashgraph is 60%, so Hedera Hashgraph, but it's a very long name. So Hedera and Hedera Hashgraph, give or take, are the same thing. You're always going to see more Hedera searches than Hedera Hashgraph because people are lazy. So Hedera, 72% at its all-time high, which doesn't sound that great until you go on Google and you search, to give you context, I'll put context here, you search the term crypto, is at 23% of its all-time high. So because obviously at the moment crypto prices have fallen off a cliff, search terms and general interest in crypto has fallen away with the price. And so when you actually look at this in context, when crypto, the term crypto, as a search term on Google is at 23% of its all-time high, Hedera being at 72% of its all-time high is actually pretty good. And by the way, if you're interested, the #1 country searching for a Hedera in the last 90 days is Slovenia, and the second one is Australia, and the third one is New Zealand. So quite interesting. So welcome to you guys. Welcome to everyone from Slovenia, Australia, and New Zealand. Okay, first bit of news, HBAR Foundation have really ramped up the work output, giving thousands, if not tens of thousands of smaller grants to people building to the network, but they're also giving and helping secure big ones too. Most notably, the $26 million raised by Galaxy to build a platform for sports stars and others to create NFTs and other content on Hedera. So this is a really big one. I had the absolute pleasure, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I had the absolute pleasure of meeting Solo Cisse, who is one of the founders of Galaxy. Really, really down to earth, really, really nice guy, an absolute sweetheart, but an absolute killer with incredible imagination, drive, and motivation. Everything you want to see in somebody building a business, and he's got it all, I can tell you. And those guys, through connections of his, through the help of Hedera, through the HBAR Foundation, and the help through the HBAR Foundation, they've raised $26 million to build one of the most incredible platforms the world will have ever seen. He was telling me about it. I got to meet him at the Next Web, which is a tech event in Amsterdam I was invited to. I interviewed him there, and that YouTube video will be coming on shortly. There's a good interview with him, and we really get into the nitty-gritty of it. He raises $26 million, absolutely fantastic, and what they're going to do with it, you just wait. Honestly, I cannot overemphasize how important that is going to be to the Hedera ecosystem in general, but specifically the NFT section platform of Hedera. And the reason that corner of the industry is important is because it's customer facing. So if you want your everyday people being exposed to crypto, and specifically Hedera Hashgraph, the way that most people are going to do that is through NFTs. So, and that's everyone, by the way, from 11-year-old children like my son playing Fortnite who would know about NFTs, all the way through to my 85-year-old father who's read about NFTs in the Daily Mail. NFTs are one of the easiest routes into crypto that's going to reach the masses. So it's a really important part of the ecosystem. And which gets my next point. They sponsored, so the Hedera, the HBAR Foundation sponsored NFT NYC and we're running adverts on all of the screens in and out of the event. So I don't know if you saw it again on Twitter, but people were at NFT NYC and they were sort of videoing the event, and there was these incredible wraparound screens in the foyer of the hotel, and every single one of them was Hedera, Hedera, Hedera. How amazing! Like the the exposure, well, it must have been fantastic. I haven't seen any stats, but the eyes on those screens around the world on social media and at the event must have been in that hundreds of thousands, literally, if not millions. And then in Times Square, Hedera NFTs, the quickest growing platform, amazing. So they're not messing about, these guys, you know, from $26 million, they're putting away their money where their mouth is, they're putting it into the communities. And there's a bit of a rumor going around as well that I want to quash now, and we talk about it actually in the interview with Solo. This 26 million, Solo at no point has said that he's hoarding it for a rainy day. That's just a non-existent, was never said. So anyone who thinks that they've been, you know, sort of given this money to do good with, and then they're just hoarding it, that's just not the case at all. But as I say, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and when the interview between me and Solo, and I ask him flat out, are you hoarding this money? And you know, I'm a straight shooter, as you know, and we have the conversation. Hit the subscribe, and you'll be notified when that video is ready for you to watch. Thanks to BM Gentile for pointing out the news about blockonomy. So blockonomy are a crypto research and ranking platform, and their Twitter bio says, bringing human and machine intelligence for impartial crypto analysis. So these guys are completely impartial. There's about, I think there's about 115 cryptos on their platform at the moment, and humans that work there have created these algorithms, and then the computers use those algorithms to see sort of where the cryptos are sitting in the market. And there's four main criteria that they judge the cryptos on, and those are product progress, token fundamentals, team, and GitHub. So product progress is kind of where they are, you know, is the crypto project in main phase, beta, alpha, you know, where is it sort of, and of that, if it's in alpha, if it's a proper live project, how much, you know, are they sharding? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? Kind of like, where is the project in its own timeline? It just in its own lane, where is it in the race? And so Hedera was given a 90% on that. Token fundamentals, so that's how many tokens are in existence, of those, how many have been released, how many are about to be released, and looking at the tokenomics of the project, and that was given a 70%. I've got a little bit of an issue with that, because I think with a project as big as Hedera is going to be, and is very nearly, by the way, it's growing, people hopefully are seeing that, and I'll talk about that in a second too. But for me, I think that 70% is a little bit unfair. Maybe that's my bias, maybe, I don't know, but I just think the 50 billion is a bit of a misunderstanding. Like, Ripple's got 100 billion, and no one seems to quaff at that, because they say, well, to be the payment layer of the internet, you need that much. Well, Hedera is going to be another payment layer of the internet, as we're going to get to in a second, and so much more. So for me, 50 billion is not too, you know, it's about right. Team, so that's the core team at Hedera, no one outside of the company, the core team at Hedera, and they've got a 90%, which is great, and I think fair. And then GitHub activity. So GitHub activity is like how many pull requests, how like software updates, conversations that are going on, and general activity in GitHub. And that's got a whopping 95%, because it really is now all guns blazing. Overall, it gets a rating of 88%, which is outstanding according to them. And that gives it, believe it or not, a position of number 4. And if you're interested, Bitcoin is number 1, Ethereum number 2, Chainlink number 3, and 4 is Hedera. So I think that's really, really fantastic, because this website, as far as I know, isn't sponsored by any of the cryptos. You know, they've got a serious following on Twitter. So if you want to see these guys again, just type into Google blockonomy. That's BLOCKNOMY, and their Twitter handle is the same. So it's just at BLOCKNOMY. And the reason that's brilliant is just because it's another sort of tick in the box. It's another endorsement from a completely independent company who, as far as I know, aren't sponsored, aren't endorsed. They're literally just a standalone thing that are trying to rank all the cryptos, and by their metrics, with no skin in any game, no dog in the fight, as they say, they see Hedera as being number 4, which is serious. This is going to upset a few people. Guess where Ripple is on their list of 115? As of yesterday, it was number 87, so that isn't great. But obviously the metrics that they measure by might work in Hedera's favor a little bit, and not so much in Ripple's, I don't know. So that's just another positive, you know, Hedera ranking. It's top 30 here, it's top 10 there, it's top 5 there, and it's top 4 here, so that's fantastic. Another great bit of news, and this is relatively small news, but big at the same time. And the reason I say that is because as a piece of sort of news, it's not that big, but what it potentially means is absolutely massive, because this is exactly what I said would happen. I said that Ripple XRP have got a great project, the solid tech, but they're stuck in the mud because they're fighting the SEC. And loads of people gave me grief on the internet for that, and they said, no, they're still developing, and blah. And they are, they're working hard, I'm sure. I'm not taking away from that. But it's undeniable that there are going to be people who, rightly or wrongly, believe that they should sort of wait to see what happens with SEC before they become a customer. And it is a zero-sum game. If you're with one, if you're sending a payment with one person, you're not sending the same payment with another person. So while they're doing their thing with the SEC, Shinhan Bank and Standard Bank have carried out their first real-world live remittance. So Shinhan, just to recap, are a 359 billion asset bank, and they've also just won the Enterprise Blockchain Award 2021. So, you know, they're sort of the leaders in banks and crypto tech. They won the Enterprise Award, and they have done the first remittance. Not we're planning to do this, not we're trialing that. Done deal, done, live. And they're a 359 billion dollar asset company. And they did that with Standard Bank, who are the largest bank in Africa by asset, with 148 billion in assets. So between them, they're like, what's that? 500 billion, $500 billion dollars in USD in assets. And Hedera have just done a really cool YouTube video, actually, and I'll put a link to it in the description below. Cool YouTube video by Andrew Kim of Shinhan Bank and Alex Lopez of Standard Bank. And if you're not really interested in watching the whole video, because it is quite technical, just skip to 10 minutes and 10 seconds, 10 minutes and 10 seconds into this video. Again, I'll put a link in the description below. And they actually do it live in the video, which is really cool. It's wicked to see the sort of screen share come up of the phone, and then him talk you through and take you through the journey of sending money from Kim to Alex. Really cool. Really worth a watch after this video, of course. The Hedera NFT platform is heating up. There are more and more people talking about the Hedera NFT platform. That's only going to continue. My own company, Utopian Lab, at Utopian, UTOPIAN _lab, has agreed a deal with Castle Fine Art at Castle Galleries, CASTLE GALLARIES, Castle Galleries, through the Halcyon Group and Washington Green to help their incredible artists to create world-leading NFTs. Utopian Lab are in late-stage talks with other huge in capitals brands to do the same, which is absolutely true. Don't like to be seen as bragging or anything, but I can't do a Hedera update without mentioning my own company, because it's certainly a big deal to me, and I think you guys will agree it's a big deal. So Utopian Lab, my business that's building in the tech space, has secured, I'm very proud to say, as I say, Castle Fine Art. They have some of the most world's incredible artists, including John Mayer, who you'll have heard me talk about before, one of the world's foremost art forgers, served his time, come out and gone straight. Paul Cummings, loads, too many to mention, amazing artists, and they're going to be minting their NFTs exclusively on Hedera Hashgraph. That is not a joke. That is no small thing. They are a massive, I mean, I'm talking hundreds of millions of pounds turnover group of companies, and they're going to be doing that exclusively on Hedera. I can't talk about it yet, but I promise you these are other equally big announcements that are coming very shortly with Utopian Lab exclusively on Hedera. I'm talking world brands that we're going to be bringing through Utopian Labs onto Hedera. So it's not just me. That's just my little company. You know, there are loads, and it compounds because Halcyon bring people with them. You know, Castle Fine Art, Washington Green, they bring other people with them. People who've never heard of Hedera are about to. They're going to say, wow, what a fantastic thing, but what about Ethereum, and what about no, it's not minted on Ethereum. It's minted on this new technology called the Hedera Hashgraph. So think of the ripple effect. And then those people tell two people, and so on and so forth. So it really is heating up. And I don't know if you're on Twitter, more and more people, I think I get to this in a second, with sort of .eth, .xrp or whatever in their name are saying, hello Hedera, like what, I want to learn more. Hi, I'm new to the community. I'm seeing more and more of that. And the other thing I'm noticing, and I don't know if you're noticing this too in the space, is that the naysayers are getting quieter and quieter. So there are fewer and fewer of them, I found. And the other thing that's happening is the topic has changed. So it's been a long time since I heard the two words decentralized and garbage. And that is what I used to hear all the time. Even like 6 months ago, 1 year ago, certainly 2, 3 years ago, people were saying to me, oh yeah, but it's never going to go anywhere, it's all talk, or it's centralized garbage, the community will never accept it, it's this, it's that, it's the other. And I kept saying to people, utility always, nearly always wins through. Just stick with it, utility wins through. And I'm trying to explain to people why it's one of the most decentralized projects out there. And I think that's, like what I said would happen is slowly happening, and now I'm actually genuinely, I know I'm looking for it, and if you buy a purple car, all you see on the road is purple cars. I get that, and I get there's a bit of confirmation bias there as well, but I'm aware of it, so I try and keep a sort of cap on that. But even with that, it's undeniable. Honestly, the number of negative comments about Hedera and the number of naysayers is shrinking, and the argument that they have is changing. No longer is it, oh, it's decentralized garbage. Oh, it's never going to take on. It's this, that, the other. It's more now, yeah, but ETH is still better because that's where all the customers are. Like they're getting to the end of the road of arguments of why Hedera won't happen. And now it's like, okay, well, rather than say bad stuff about that, I'm just going to say good stuff about this. Yeah, no, I get it. But Ethereum's where all the customers are. But trust me when I say that is changing. So anyone watching this for the first time, anyone new to Hedera, welcome, and it's great to have you. So I'm seeing a significant increase in the people engaging with Hedera from other platforms. And that is really, really true. You only need to be on Twitter. Follow me at Walker&Williams, and you'll see it for yourself. You'll see me put a comment up, Hedera is great, and then you'll see, if you look at a tweet of that nature 6 months ago, look, 170 comments, 30 of them negative. 6 months later, less. Yesterday, 2 negative comments, and they're not Hedera's centralized garbage. It's, yeah, but all the customers are on Ethereum. I have good friends building on other platforms, I really do. Old school friends, all sorts of walks of life. I have good friends building on other platforms who've started asking me about Hedera. One in particular, building on Solana, is considering a move over, and if they do, it will be a huge benefit to Hedera. So this is absolutely true. I can't tell you too much at this point because it is super, super sensitive, but there is a fantastic NFT project that is currently built on Solana, and they have a sort of approach that said, look, you know, not to sort of do a disservice to Solana, but, you know, it's not been plain sailing, to be fair, and so we just want to explore what might be possible. And I'm getting more and more of those calls, by the way, not just from friends of mine, but people who've seen me on the YouTube video and their team reach my team and say, can this guy who's done this, or can this lady who owns this project talk to Max about potentially coming over to Hedera? Can Max make an introduction? And that's happening. It happened once in the first 6 months of me talking about Hedera a couple of years ago, and it's now happening, no exaggeration, once a fortnight. I'm getting a call or an email through my team from somebody else on another platform saying, can we talk? Once a fortnight from once every 6 months, and that's only going to compound. I'm expecting to get those once, twice a day pretty soon. I said, and it compounds, by the way, as well, that's the other thing, it gets better quicker. It's not linear. Everyone thinks that futures are like this. Oh, my earnings will do this. No, no, no. You don't earn any money until you're sort of 15, 16, and then you earn a pittance, and then when you get to earning age, it goes whoop, and then it drops off a cliff as you retire. So everyone thinks that everything in life is this, and it's not. It's always, nearly always that. It's nearly always that. And Hedera is an inch off the bottom of the graph, and it's about to, and now how quickly that happens will depend on what happens at the wider economy, of course, because if it's a choice between investing in a new business and taking a chance that will be built on Hedera and paying your rent or mortgage, clearly you're going to choose your rent or mortgage. But when the good times come around again, or if they last a little bit longer now, we're going to see people taking those risks, and they're going to be doing it on Hedera. And I hope they're successful. I hope it makes them wealthy beyond their wildest dreams. And so, yeah, I said that HBAR and Hedera are the most undervalued assets. So we've got to talk about price. That's the elephant in the room, and that's what we're getting to. I said that HBAR and Hedera are the most undervalued asset there is at 20 cent. At 6 cent, it's a genuine opportunity of a lifetime. I truly believe that, I really do. For all the reasons I've just said, for all the positive stuff that's happening, for the momentum that we've kind of got, because it's so hard to start something moving, but once it is, the opposite becomes true. It's really hard to stop it. And we've got that momentum now, and it's building. And all of the people, you know, all the original OGs from in the NFT space who've just been plugging away at it and everything, ask them, go on Twitter and ask them. They're starting to see genuine traction. If you're one of the guys that I'm talking about, please leave a comment below and just, you know, confirm, say, or correct me if I'm wrong, please. But I think you'll see the floor price which is the lowest price anyone will pay for something, the floor price on most NFT projects in Hedera has, like, again, it's done this. So it's kind of been hovering around 100, 200, 300, 500 HBAR, you know, £10, £50. You know, there's really sort of like prominent ones, £150, £200. And now all of a sudden it's like, new floor price, 5,000 HBAR. Next day, new floor price, 6,000 HBAR. And it's fantastic to see. And this is happening in a bear market. At the moment, crypto is like dead, flat on the floor, being revived. And yet in our little ecosystem, in our little pond, things are thriving. So can you imagine when that ocean of money and energy and enthusiasm comes back and opens our little thing up, it's gonna moon. I said, yeah, and I was saying in videos, if you've watched the channel for a while, you'll know, I was saying to people that it's not just the most undervalued crypto asset, it's the most undervalued asset, full stop. Property, gold, silver, I own it all, stock, shares, and this is the most undervalued. And I was saying that at 20 cents, it's now 6. It's like 5 pence in real money. And so this is genuinely, I believe this is an opportunity of a lifetime. You might disagree. If you do, cool. Let me know why in the comments below. Educate me. Always looking to learn. Imagine I was trying to think of a way of like describing how for me it feels. Imagine the early days of smartphones and Apple stock is at 6 cents, down from an all-time high of 48 cents, because that's where Hedera is down from, because shares in T-Mobile or O2 are down. So you've got smartphones, you look at it, and it's not like the internet, because by the way, when the internet came around, a lot of people were like, it's a fad. And the reason they were like that is because no one will ever trust proper money on there. So no one's ever going to buy anything really expensive online. Oh, first of all, it was no one will ever be able to buy anything online because we can't facilitate it securely. Then it was like, okay, well, a bit like contactless, you know, we're going to cap it, and no one will ever spend like anything over sort of $20, £30, 50 yen, or whatever it may be, because there's, you know, no real trust. But no one will ever spend big money on the internet. And then it was like, well, it's a bit of a fad because delivery times take forever. It's just easier to drive around the shop. What about the experience? You lose out on trying clothes on and blah, 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 blah. So there were loads of really good reasons, and they were all fair and legitimate reasons at the time of why the internet would never take off. But nobody that I know of or heard of or read about, when smartphones came around, said this won't take off. I think everyone was like, yeah, having a computer in the palm of your hand has always made sense. So there weren't many people saying that smartphones, there will have been some, you know, somewhere, your HBAR prices of the world, your cranks, but not many people that I saw, or many people that counted, were saying, oh, this won't take off. But nevertheless, I haven't looked, but I'm pretty sure if we look back at this, you know, the share price of tech firms that were working in the smartphone space, they will have been going up and down, even though everyone was pretty much of the consensus that these are eventually going to go to the moon. Well, that's exactly how I feel about crypto. There aren't many people, I mean, there's more than with smartphones, but there aren't many people who understand what cryptographic technology is, who say this is not going to be the future. There aren't many people who count, who know, who have skin in the game, who understand how it works, who say, I don't think the internet with new websites, you know, new tracking stuff, new software is not going to be built on cryptographic tech. Like, the technology is undeniable. So like smartphones, pretty much everyone in the know agrees that this is going to be the future. That's undeniable. So the fact that T-Mobile or O2 are having a bad day and their shares drop, which means it pulls Apple's shares down, doesn't mean that Apple isn't going to go somewhere. It just means that it's too small at the moment, and the price of something pretty unrelated pulls down the price of the device. One day, Hedera becomes bigger than Bitcoin, just like Apple outgrew O2 and T-Mobile combined. So just in the same way that at the moment, you've kind of got the moon, which is Bitcoin, and you've got all these small little planets. And when the moon moves, it pulls, the gravitational pull pulls all these little planets, relatively small planets in. But these planets are growing and the moon's staying pretty much the same size. Bitcoin isn't taking on anything new. You know, we all know about it now. Okay, great. You know, it's 12 years old, 13 years old. It isn't going to be what we thought it was going to be. It's not going to revolutionize money. It's not going to do, it's going to have its place in time. Fine, cool. That's done. Over here, we've got Ripple, Hedera, Solana, XDC, Telco, all these other projects going at 100 miles an hour with all these people with energy and money and buzzing and people coming into the thing. And these planets are growing, and the planets eventually outgrow the moon, just like Apple outgrew T-Mobile. And the price of T-Mobile stopped affecting the price of Apple. Tiffany's outgrew the spot price of gold, and the brand Tiffany's is so strong that if you have a gold ring in the window of Tiffany's, it isn't affected by the raw price of gold. So gold doubles in price today, the ring's the same. Gold halves in price from what it was yesterday, the ring stays the same. And nobody questions it. Nobody looks at the price of diamonds and then goes to Tiffany's and says, well, can I have some money off because diamonds are down today? No, because Tiffany's, the brand, has outgrown the raw material fluctuations. Same thing happened with Apple, same thing is gonna happen with Hedera. It will get so big that it'll have its own gravitational force. And that's the best way I can kind of describe it. That will change. So if what I think is true, and it might not be, but if what I think is true, at 6 cents, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. Like, think how many HBAR you can buy for a pack of chewing gum or whatever. Like, it's ridiculous. Okay, oh yeah, and then I've put here 8x. So even if I'm completely wrong, and you've got a magic ball and you look into it and you say, okay, the price of Hedera actually only ever gets back to its all-time high. It never breaks that ceiling. It's still not a bad return, 8 times your money. In property, I'm waiting 5 years to double my money gross. Hedera, less than a year, maybe 8x. So 100,000 is 800,000, 1,000 is 8,000. So not a bad return. And the risk, the sort of downside of Hedera going to zero or you losing all your money is pretty small, and even smaller at this price. And if it drops even lower, then even smaller again. So it's a great time. And if you're not looking to sell, the price doesn't really matter. And if you're looking to buy, then what a fantastic time. If you are looking to sell, I'm really, really sorry about that. Your timing couldn't be much worse depending on where you bought at, but you still might be up. So this is quite a short video. I just thought I'd keep it short and sweet. Keep you guys updated. If you've got any comments, feedback, please leave it below. I'd love to see that. We've got some fantastic interviews coming out soon. We've got the London School of Economics with my friend, Dr. Sorensen. That interview is finally ready. It's about 2 hours long, so we're going to do it as a two-parter like we did when we met Lehman and Mans of HBAR, Hedera. And yeah, we've got the LEC, we've got Solo, that's a fantastic one. And I've got the John Mayer, the world's most famous art forger. I've got an interview with him, which is a two-parter too. As I said at the beginning, please give us a follow if you haven't already, give us a subscribe, just because for no other reason than it helps you. And the reason it helps you, what's in it for me? Well, what's in it for you is that the bigger my following, the more influence I have and the more people I can speak to. The more people I can speak to, the more they learn about Hedera Hashgraph and all the other projects that deserve the attention that some of them aren't getting at the moment. As always, thanks ever so much for watching. I'll see you soon.